How would it feel to have a thriving fitness business and have the freedom to enjoy life at the fullest? Well, that is exactly what the Trainer Revenue Multiplier Show is going to give you. My name is Mathew Park. This is Jaime Filer.
Hey guys.
And we are here to serve. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TRM Show. My name is Mathew Park, and I am with a exceptionally unique, and you guys may even know this guy from the industry of bodybuilding for almost 20 years. A guest that's I guess guys been around the industry for 20 years, known as the King Snake in bodybuilding, grace of covers, been on the stages, Mr. Steve Kuclo. How are you, my friend?
Having a quick difficulty about to set this back on. There we go. Oh, it's just too much beauty going on here. Computer can't handle it.
My man, you know what? It's because there's too much muscle in the camera screen. Unfortunately, I was just telling you before we got in the call, there was a picture launched, us sponsoring your show, and I was like, Steve's arm looks like the size of my head. So it's okay, buddy.
Well, number one, I thank you for having me on your show. Thank you for that amazing intro, and thank you for being my coach. I believe the best coaches have coaches, and I'm honored to have you as a coach and guide me through this new journey and chapter of my life as a personal coach, wellness coach, high performance coach, kind of a all-encompassing guy that could help people transform their lives.
Steve, what's amazing about you, man, is that you've been in the game for a long time and you've been on the biggest stages in bodybuilding, okay? Have one of the best physiques in bodybuilding that ever graced the bodybuilding stages, the covers, the supplement companies over the years. Now a dad, and also married your wonderful wife, Michelle. And honestly, it's been so wonderful seeing this bodybuilding guy who is just well known in the industry move over and help and serve people now in this coaching space at a high level. Like I'm talking high level, Steve. So my hat's off to you, man, because, it just to see how fast you've progressed is insane.
Well, I appreciate that. And I don't think I could have done it without your help. That's the God's honest truth. And I say that humbly. And I say that with, whole new venture. And like you said, so much stuff was happening in the last 6 months between becoming a father, launching the new business, and I mean, a lot of uncharted waters for me. So at that time, it's like, there's a lot of fear that comes with that, a lot of doubt. Hey, can I do this? Is this the right path? Should I, but I think having you in my corner has been probably the greatest ace up my sleeve I could have in order to kind of create a foundation, give me confidence, and know that I'm on the right path. Not only have you been encouraging, but you've kind of walked me through step by step on what I should be doing. And every step we've taken has proven that they were the right steps.
Honored, my friend. That was, thank you, Steve. Much appreciate that, buddy, on all levels. And let's talk about the transition because, you've been a bodybuilder professionally on the biggest stages, from the Olympia to the Arnold, and going from that to coaching. Tell us about that transition period, Steve, for you.
It's definitely a transition for, like, I'm a person that always wants to deliver my best. Whatever I'm doing, it's always going to be my best. And, whether it's washing my car, I'm going to try to do it the best I can do it. Whether it's going to be lifting weights in the gym, whether it's getting on stage, whether it's helping somebody. I kind of carried that through my time in the fire department. That was a big serving time of my life, like being a public servant, and taught me a lot about myself and being, very selfless at times. And that's what, to me, a good coach can do, is put yourself in that client's shoes, and then also being able to, like, hey, how can I truly help somebody that needs help? That people are coming to you and they're going to pay you for your help, your knowledge, your wisdom, and then deliver a ton of value. You did that for me as my coach. And so, and I've had coaches through my life, and I feel like the best coaches I've always felt like I took something from it. And I'm like, man, I could create so much from just one little nugget they've given me. Yeah. And so the transition to me, like, it has been a little bit fearful. I'm not going to lie. Like there's times where there's been, is this the right thing? There is an investment that goes into this, not only with money but time. You want to be wise with my time, especially with having my wife and my son, and like wanting to give them as much time as possible, and thinking about different things I want to do. I've owned several businesses. I have, I promote my own bodybuilding show. I've had apparel company. I've had a lot of other businesses I've been involved in at different levels. And it always, it consumes a lot of time. And I'm like, I want to do something that is going to be fruitful, that is going to allow me to make good money, but also be able to still manage and create my own schedule. And then also at the same time, like not take away too much time from my family. And the beauty about mainly being a predominant online coach is that I'm able to do it 90% of it from my home, being in my own office, being able to, hear my son, laughing or playing in the other room with my wife, and like hearing that, man, that just gives me so much energy. I mean, kind of getting off track, but the transition has proved to be right. I think when you you have to be willing to walk down a road, even though it's a road you don't know.
Yeah.
And in the Bible, it talks about taking the narrow path is the one that leads to life. The wide path leads to the one that leads to destruction, ultimately. And to me, it's a narrow path. It's hard. It's going to create a lot of friction. There's going to be a lot of potential failures or unknowns and things that I may screw up on or not do perfect the first time, but willing to learn from those mistakes, continue to move forward, continue to grow through this process, and continue to evolve. It's with starting anything, you can't, if you wait to have it absolutely perfected, you're never going to get it off the ground. You're never going to start. You have to just start walking, start figuring it out, continue moving forward, letting that momentum take you forward. And then from there, you're going to create some good stuff, and then evolve, continue to like learn, expand your knowledge, and then feel like you just become this like dominant force in this space. Like, I don't want to just make a claim like I'm the best coach ever. Like, I want to be an industry leader in whatever I'm doing. I want to be somebody like that when they talk about it, they can be like, yeah, that guy really knows his stuff. There's it's word of mouth, not me getting online and posting up like Lambos and fake houses and all the stuff that social media influencers like to do. Like, no, there's proof in my pudding, because you could ask every one of my clients and how they feel, and they're going to all give you the same response.
Wow. So Steve, how important is it for you? Like, you have a really unique mindset that I really respect and admire about you. And it's that growth coachable mindset. How important has that been for you for your success?
Growth mindset, success mindset is huge. I actually just did a call with my group, because every Thursday I do group calls with all my clients. I bring them all together, and it kind of creates this cool network of people. And I think that's a cool thing. And you do that with your coaches, which is awesome. And I think when you kind of create community, there's energy, people feed off each other, you get ideas, you talk wins, you talk struggles, and you do that. And I think it's just so powerful, man.
Mm-hmm. Also, the one thing about you I really enjoy, Steve, even though you're this amazingly big force of a man, you have this ego in control, and you're humble. You're still vulnerable, but you're so brave and courageous and strong. How, like, two different areas, drop your ego, but yet have strength. Like, can you describe the importance of that and how you navigate that in your business or growing in your life in general?
It kind of goes into what we were talking about, success mindset. I'm always positive on things. I'm always focused on, if there's something that screws up or doesn't go right, like, or a failure, I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to grow from it. I'm going to get better from it. But to me, like, in life, I think I've been around a lot of high ego people, and I haven't been attracted to that. Yeah. And, from when I was coming up in the ranks of bodybuilding, from being a teenager and winning the team nationals and getting on covers of magazines young and sponsorships and all that, some of the best advice I was given was like, the same people you see coming up is the same people you see coming down. So, if you're treating these people like shit, as you're, pardon my language, but as you're going up, to get to the top, and I'm on the best, and then all of a sudden, like, your reign on top eventually has its day, and then you're going to come down a little bit. Like, those same people you're going to see. And if you've treated them bad, like, why are they going to respect you? So I've always given respect to everybody that I come in contact with, and I always give everybody a clean slate. Like, even though if somebody's going to talk crap on somebody and say this guy's a bad person, well, they've treated me well, so I'm not going to dictate my relationship with them based on what you really have a relationship with somebody or think of somebody. So to me, ego is if you've ever been in a long-term relationship, especially marriage, you understand, like, you can't be ego, especially as a husband. You have to put the ego down, and more than likely you're wrong. So, like the client's always right kind of attitude, wife's always right kind of attitude. It's going to take you a long way in life. I don't always have to be right, but I do want to always be humble, be my best, and put less focus on necessarily me and then what I can do for other people.
That's awesome, man. That's great. What do you think's been the best business advice or business tip you have either gotten or used that took you from starting your business in September to being 6 figures now in the business?
This one it's probably been around a while, and I've heard you say it over and over, and it honestly makes the most sense when you really think about it. Instead of going a mile wide, go a mile deep. And I'm the kind of guy that always went a mile wide. I'm the guy that's like, man, I'll do everything. I'll be a bodybuilding coach, and I could be like a geriatric coach, and I could be a fitness model coach, and I could be a board short guy coach. I mean, I could do it all. But then in reality, like, if you try to serve everybody, you're going to serve nobody. And to me, I really honed in on my prime avatar of who I really want to focus on. But yes, I do pick up other clients because people see like the success and see I want to coach with Steve. I want to work with Steve. I want to be part of that community. But at the same time, like, I do see myself getting the same clients, similar clients, high level business guys that, have money, that are willing to, say, you know what, I've neglected myself over the years, and it's time I put a lot more of attention and time and money and effort into my body. Like, at the end of the day, you could be worth $100 million, but you can't buy your health.
Yeah.
So it's time to invest into yourself, get yourself right. Like, you can correct imbalances and disease and overweight if you're willing to do the work, but it's going to take work. It's not going to happen overnight. So I find myself with a lot of the same clients, but I feel like I understand their language. I understand what it takes being, a family man, being a business guy, running your business, the stresses of life, and really helping them kind of get their mind right to help ultimately get their body right.
That's awesome, man. I love that. What are 3 common questions people come to Steve Kuclo for, or you're being asked?
I think it's to get weight, get ripped. That's always one. Like, get in shape, getting ripped. Like, okay, like that is commonly one. Because I've been doing a lot more of the deep dive diagnostic type stuff with blood work, I get a lot of people coming to me like, hey man, you did blood work for a friend of mine. Like, I want to get blood work done. And I see, like, we've made some amazing strides and amazing improvements in people's health by really, blood work. And when you do diagnostic type stuff, it doesn't lie. Like, that is what's going on. So when you see that, you can make the corrections without guessing, because I don't want to guess at people's health. To me, a metric of it's anything that can be measured can be improved. So I want to go ahead and improve what's going on in people's health, not just guess and say, hey, take this multivitamin and take this, and here's a random diet. Good luck. Like, it may work, but it's flipping a coin, and I don't want to do that. Like, people are spending time and money into doing this. I'm going to give them what they want and deserve. And then, I think the question is, like, sometimes it comes back around of like, how do I do it? How do I do it? I can't do it. The people start doubting themselves, and then I it's kind of rewiring their thinking, rewiring the way they talk, rewiring their, yes, you can do it. You can always make time.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at your screen time on your phone, you have 7 hours a day on your phone. Okay, maybe you cut an hour out of that screen time and get to the gym, or instead of an hour Netflix at night, maybe you can cut that hour into your day and get to the gym, make smarter choices, doing things like that. So more intentionality is really what I help people with.
I love that. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. This is perfect. So have you ever been blindsided before, Steve? I know this is kind of like a in the middle question, but you're a popular guy. You've been around for a long time. Have you ever been blindsided before?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So there's always things that you're going to have to pivot in life, or like you didn't see come in. And, some of it's been, big financial burdens that have kind of come my way, that are like, oh crap, like I didn't expect that bill, or I didn't expect that, me have to pay that and come out of nowhere. And then, there's been, that has probably been a blindsided thing. You know, and I've had tragic things with death of close friends. I've had clients come to me with diagnosis of close friends that I've helped along the way with different nutrition and whatnot. And then a friend come to me and say, hey man, I got a diagnosis of cancer. And I'm like, what? How, you're 41 years old, how is this possible? All right, like we could fix this. Like, all right, don't you be giving up. Like, your right mindset, the right nutrition, the right supplements. We're gonna make this happen. But yeah, I mean, there's always the crazy things in life that come your way. But I think anybody that has, again, a positive or success mindset or growth mindset knows, hey, if I stay on the right track of the way I think, we're gonna go ahead and stay on the right track of life and like be successful or overcome whatever this blindsided thing is.
I love it. So influences, Steve. So who have been your influences? This could have been like maybe a book, who you listen to, who you learn from. It could have been from 10 years ago, it could have been from now. Who are Steve's influences?
I have to say, like, some of the biggest influences in my life have been some of the most, what would be considered average people, but that like live a life that are probably some of the most consistent people. Like one of my captains that when I was in the fire department, one of the captains, I almost looked at him like a father, but he was like the most consistent guy. Every time he came to work, he had a smile on his face, and he just brought an energy into that room. He had a family, and like his wife loved him, his kids loved him. And I'm like, man, I admire that. Like, and I see, he may not be making $1 million a year, but this guy like is just happy in life. And I think ultimately, and I've been around really wealthy people that are miserable. And I'm not saying that there's a correlation. I mean, I know very rich people that are super happy too, and, but at the same time, I'm like, people that I admire the most are people that are very consistent in who they are. And that's what one of the things I think I pride myself in is I feel like I'm a very consistent person. You can ask my wife. Every morning I wake up, I have a smile on my face. I'm grateful to God that I have breath in my lungs. I have my wife, my son, and I'm like, my life is great. Yes, things come along, and I feel like can be blindsided or have stresses of life, and there's always financial stresses, and different things are going on. Trying to manage clients and manage time with family and make everybody happy at the end of the day. Your dad rolls a stressful role.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, to me, it's like, I'm still going to be the guy that's got a smile on his face and going to, show up. When I say I'm going to show up, and I'm going to be a man of my word, and I'm going to be consistent in who I am.
I love that. That's awesome, man. So obviously, having a son recently, starting a business, is those two things, and just but even one of them alone is already a big thing. Having a son is a big thing. Having a company is a new thing. But if you could just be vulnerable and share how you've navigated those things, brother, because a lot of guys who or maybe not in your shoes, but guys and gals, that sidetracks people, like beginning a company or whatever it might look like. So how has that journey been for you if you look at those two things and navigating them in your life?
It definitely is not easy. And to me, anything hard in life or anything that's worth doing is, I always say, like, it's kind of worth overdoing. And that means just being all in on it. I'm an all-in kind of guy. I've been all in on competing in bodybuilding. That's why I've been top 5, top 3 in the world. But bodybuilding, I could say, really gave me a lot of tools and skills that I've carried over into life. And going from being resilient, being determined, being consistent, being disciplined, being all the things it takes to be successful in bodybuilding. Being able to you're sacrificing time and pleasure for the ultimate goal of going to win that show in 6 or 12 or 10 weeks, whatever it is. Like, knowing and being very goal oriented. So when I set my mind to something, I know, like, man, I don't care what comes in my way, I'm going to do it. I don't care what I have to sacrifice, I'm going to accomplish it. I'm going to be very goal oriented, be very clear and focused on that goal. And that's one of the things like that you do with your clients when you gave us, made us create goal sheets and plans, like create a clear plan and vision for what you want to do each quarter. Like, having that kind of clarity in what you want to do and accomplish creates, when you have a clear vision, you have a clear path to that ultimate goal. And then you create your daily habits, create your weekly habits, your monthly habits, things you have to do to create that success. So, having all that is ultimately, like, I think bodybuilding for allowing me to have the grit to face the fear, face the doubt, start the things. But I always feel like anything I put my mind to, I can do. And, I believe really anybody can do that if they're willing to like work hard. And I've been very diligent and like wanting to continue to learn, expand my scope, expand my knowledge, not just say I know everything and I'm the greatest and everybody come to me. Like, no, I'm going to humble myself and I'm going to say, you know what, like I want to become better. Yeah, I could, and I think you could always become better. If you're not continually learning and expanding what you do know, plugging into groups, hiring coaches, doing all those things like for growth, like you're dying. You're going on the wrong ink. You're declining instead of going up. So
that's so true, man. What now from an aspect of if let's say a young coach came to you, young coach starting in the industry, you've been in this game for almost 20 years, Steve. So what advice would you give someone who's younger, whether it's a younger version of you or a younger coach coming up in this space? What would you give for advice to that person?
Be willing to learn and listen to the right people. There's a lot of noise, a lot of voices out there. There's a lot of bad information. A lot of people that claim to know things and claim to be great coaches or mentors or whatever it is. Find somebody that you admire their work or what they've built, maybe, and vet it. Like, don't just assume that most people are pretty authentic, but there is a lot of frauds out there too. Like people that put up fake, success. So don't always be drawn in by necessarily like flashy success things. But if somebody is, a dominant figure in their space, whatever it is, you admire what they have and do, and like the way they deliver their information, the way they take care of their clients, where they bring value. Those are the people that you want to try to connect with, try to get in a room with, try to hire to be a coach, whatever it is. Like, find those people. And that's what I've always kind of, anybody I've kind of gravitated toward with the way they think about or do life, or the way they do relationship or business. Like, those are the people I've wanted to kind of gravitate toward and hire. And I have hired in the last probably 10 years, where I've really started getting into more hiring coaches for specific skill type things. Like, I wish now, going back, like you said, to my 23-year-old self, I wish I did that even for, 20 years ago, where I would hire somebody like, hey man, I want to help you launch your business. Here, I'm going to give you the blueprint to build this out. Like, I went through probably 5 or 6 years of a lot of headaches and a lot of screw ups and a lot of, man, I wish, I went to the school of hard knocks, when if I hired a coach, I probably could have took 6 years of learning into maybe condense it down to 6 months, to where, like we talked about, 6 figures in 6 months instead of 6 figures in 6 years. So that kind of thing.
Interesting. And, that's so powerful, man. And I want to go back to a question I asked you in the beginning, because as I'm hearing you and we're sharing this stuff, it's so powerful, is you were a dominant figure in bodybuilding, and people all around the world knew Steve Kuclo and who you were. So when you look at your identity as far as being the bodybuilder, being in the top 3 in the world, going into letting that go, retiring, and going over into coaching and being a family man and being in a different stage in your life, like, what happened inside of you, Steve? Like, what was that transition in you that you had to go through? Was there like a sense of loss or letting go or reshifting how you thought about life?
There's a lot of identity built in what I've done and accomplished. Absolutely. Like, a lot of who I am. And yes, there's an attack on confidence. I think I had to rebuild my self-confidence in a different way. Because it's like, here I am, top of my industry, one of the top guys, everybody knows me. And it's like, that's awesome. But then it's like, okay, you have to start in not necessarily a different industry, but kind of a different title or what I'm doing, a different career path.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of having to start back down into the little guy and work my way up into creating myself as an industry leader, kind of badass, so to speak. So to me, it's like, having, but to me, like getting the wins with clients, getting people telling me like, man, I've never felt so good. Like hearing the things that clients tell you that are positive, those are wins. And that gives me momentum. That gives me confidence in knowing, man, I'm really doing the right thing. I'm really helping people. I'm really delivering value to my clients. And when I hear that, it's like, that's as good as getting first place in a competition to me. It's that same dopamine hit you get when you're like, man, that's freaking awesome. Let's go. Let's keep doing this. And then anytime you kind of, lock in a new client, you're like, boom, we got a new client in, we're raising that money bar the next level. We're just keeping it going. So like those are wins too. Financial wins are huge.
I love that, man. I love that. So let's go into legacy, because you started this journey 6 months ago, 7 months ago. You really just grew like a weed. And honestly, like even Greg gave a text to you that before this morning or something like that regarding 95% of the coaches don't get your attainment in 6 months in the whole world, right? In the industry. So let's fast forward and look at 10 years from now. I know it's a big question, but 10 years from now,
yeah.
What legacy have you left in the industry of coaching, with your family, as a father, as a husband in the industry? What do you see as a legacy that you've been building up to?
I feel like I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit where I've always loved kind of working for myself, being my own boss, wanting to do something big. And, the bodybuilding world has allowed me to kind of really grow my name. Have success. Absolutely. And I'm so grateful for that. But it's like the coaching, again, is something new, and it's already kind of evolved into some other avenues, which we've talked about on our coaching calls, where, the coaching is kind of turning into, I see this converting into some like a whole wellness division where I feel like I can help people on a next level with dialing in blood work, food sensitivities, genetic testing, all the stuff that I've started doing with partnering with a few other friends of mine that are doing this at a very high level, offering this service to my clients, and then seeing the value and then seeing like, holy crap, like this took this person's health to a whole new level. So now it's like, really being able to practice what would be healthcare and helping people become healthy instead of what would be sick care, which is most traditional allopathic medicines. Like somebody's sick, we're going to give them medication, good luck. We're not getting to the root cause or truly helping people get healthy. Yeah. And to me, like helping people get healthy has been an amazing journey, and like really wanting to build that up. It's just to more than just my name, like creating a business and an entity that allows me to do that on a very large scale. Like I'm currently building out a website that's going to do some telemed type stuff into having some clinics in Dallas, and who knows, this might end up one in every state in the US. Like I could see that happening because I have this vision, and I think when something's right, like you can have a vision, but when you start having fruit in that and you start like planting the seeds and you're seeing the fruit of what you're doing and your labor, it's like, okay, those doors are opening. This path that I'm not, fighting this uphill battle that I'm just not getting any traction. It's like you're getting traction, you're moving along. It's just like door after door is opening. Like that's when you're on the right path.
Upgraded human wellness.
That's
right
it.
there, buddy.
That's
this is it. Expansion, impact on the rise. I love it. This is awesome, man. I love it. So I got two more fun questions to ask you, just to kind of get your 2 cents on these couple questions. And the first is, if you could have any superpower, any energy power, what would that power be for you, Steve?
My wife and I occasionally talk about this, and I really like the one that she had, and it was be able to travel in time, like go back in time or forward in time, like time travel would be an amazing thing to do. I mean, yeah, you could be like, oh, I know what the lottery numbers are going to be tomorrow for the $1 billion mega millions. That's great. But knowing like maybe some things in history you could change, like I just think that'd be really cool. That'd be a cool superpower.
I love that, man. If there was 3 people past, present, passed on, or, currently, that you could have dinner with and connect with and just pick their brains or just spend time with, who would those people, 3 people, of course, be?
I'm kind of a little bit of I like to really, really go like ancient history to me.
Yeah.
Like that, I got like a cool interest in that. I mean, to me, the number one would probably be Jesus. I'd love to sit down with him and
Yeah.
have a cool dinner and talk to him, hear about where he went from when he was about 12 to 30 years old, hear about his journeys through the desert and Egypt and all that. Like that to me sounds like that would be awesome. And then even like sitting down having a conversation with Solomon, the wisest man in the world. Like I would love to have that conversation and be like, man, I mean, yes, you wrote about in Proverbs in the Bible about of wisdom, but to me, it's like to be able to sit down and have a face to face with that would be incredible. Modern day, I'm thinking about modern day. Who I'd say Mathew Park could be a guy that a man, a family man, a successful man. Like I think being able to break bread with people it creates you bring down the wall a little bit. There's a intimacy that happens. You get to talk to people. It could be about really anything, and it could create another level of relationship too.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
What's cool about that, man, is I have known you for quite a few years, and got to know you better and better over the years through Greg, through Todd, and you're just a guy that just you mentioned the word consistent, and that's been you for the last 7 years. I've known you for 7 years, but what really impressed me, yes, you joined TR, that I appreciate that, but more than that, Steve, is you were the top 3 in the world in bodybuilding. And I'm going to rephrase this because I want people to understand this, is that he dropped his ego for a second, okay? Really started being humble and how can I get better? What do I have to do to improve? How can I redefine myself again? Dude, I have so much respect for you for that and what you did, because a lot of bodybuilders who are in that level would never want to admit that or even say that, right? You did that. And look where you are now. I'll tell you, Steve, one more time, this was when we first kind of like got this process going. You're going to make an insane impact in this world, fitness world, in the next couple of years. And as you keep growing, we're going to keep supporting whatever we can to keep evolving you. But more importantly is the kind of man you are with your family, as a father, in the industry, how you're respected, also how humble you are. That's what our fitness world needs more of. So I'm looking forward to seeing that evolve for you, buddy.
I really appreciate that, Matt. And, I do want to be, somebody that when they talk about him, they say, man, that's a good dude. That guy really cares about people in his life, cares about the people he works with. Like, you hear, I always wanted to, not that I, find my worth or like self-worth in what people think of me. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying like, anytime that I ever heard a story, this is kind of going back to my fire station days, when like the old timers would talk about an old timer and say like, man, John Smith, that dude was a good firefighter. He was a great guy. Like, you'd hear that and be like, man, there's not a better compliment that like a firefighter could get. And totally. I'd hear that and I'd be like, that's the kind of, legacy or reputation that I always want to have when somebody would talk about me.
That's you, man. That's you. And obviously Michelle knows that because she's with you, with you as your wife. But
that's right.
It's cool that once that evolves, man. So Steve, thank you very much for your time, energy, being on with me today, man, sharing some of this wisdom with us all. And of course, just having a chance to break bread with you, man, have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And the glasses are because I have a little eye thing going on. I have some uveitis. It's inflammation in my eyes. So my eyes are super sensitive. I don't want to sit here and be crying on with my eyes so sensitive. So it's not to be cool and, to be like, one of those guys with sunglasses inside. It's just to allow me to do this without being like, I can't see.
You didn't tell everybody actually on here that you're actually going to be, taking over Arnold's role as Terminator.
That would be awesome. So, yeah.
Hence why the glasses are on. I know you use the eye, buddy, but
That's right. I'll be back.
So where can they find you, Steve?
Man, through social media is always a great place to start, at Steve Kuclo, Kuclo, on all my socials. But What you and I have built through my coaching platform, go.stevekuclo.com, allows people to book an appointment with me, set up a Zoom call where we can talk about goals, talk about how I can help you achieve your goals. And, if you're interested in that, I'd love for people to set up an appointment. Let's talk.
You're going to have access, guys, to a guy who was in the bodybuilding arena for many years, who cares about you and your success, who knows deeply and cares deeply about seeing you win in your transformation and health journey. That link, one more time, Steve, was what?
Go.stevekuclo.com.
That's the link, guys. We'll put in the notes for you as well. So, King Snake, Mr. Steve Kuclo, appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Maddie. TRM, it is gold, platinum, diamond. It's all the above. It's if they had 6 out of 5 stars, anybody that is starting up in the health and wellness industry, wanting to be a coach, a trainer, whatever it is, like, do yourself a favor, cut out months and years of trying to figure out CRMs and try to figure out how to create the right templates and managing clients and how to find the right clients. Like, these guys know what they're doing. They've cut out months and months and months of headaches and trying to figure stuff out myself, and they deliver huge value. So, Matt, thank you.
Thank you, Steve, very much, my friend. Always a pleasure, brother. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next 4.5 weeks.
Let's go.
That's it, buddy.